When you kind of analyze the different positions out there of who people are saying Jesus is, what is lacking in people's understanding of Jesus today? Because you're a great proponent of biblical studies.
I think that one of the problems stems from the fact people want to make Jesus irrelevant. And therefore, to make him irrelevant, they have to say he was something like a political revolutionary. Entire books have been written on that, farthest thing from anybody's mind. That because he came from a different setting, they down him by saying he was just a Galilean peasant, with that little contempt in the voice that goes with that. I think we have to put Jesus always back in his setting. He was a first century Palestinian, that is absolutely true. He was one of any number of wandering rabbis, that is true. But why is it that he's the only one 2,000 years later whose words still echo? You know, it's very easy to dismiss him with these contemptuous little phrases. And people are missing the fact that this is the only first century person that I can think of who is still talked about, argued about, discussed. Swords are raised for and against him. I mean, we can't just dismiss him. I even have seen a recent study that he never existed. He was created out of somebody's imagination. I mean, what an insult to history, I think, to look at it that way.
Right. You've been studying Jesus for a long time. Your whole life as a sister and as a teacher has been, around and, the person of Jesus. Tell us about an enlightening moment that you had in your knowledge and understanding of who Jesus was in your years of study.
You know, I think it was when I came to an understanding of his relationship with the disciples. I always say one of the big problems in faith is we have Christian art in stained glass. And we need to get Peter, Andrew, James, John, the whole pack of them, out of the windows and into real life. And who were they? They were kids. They were 14 or 15 years old. And Jesus was forming them for a long future that he would not see. And I think to me, when I realized both their age, their ability to make mistakes, which was oh so human. Peter never opened his mouth without inserting foot at same time. When James and John came to get a promotion to the first places in the kingdom and brought their mother with them, I mean, they were not 52-year-old men with mama attached. When you look at them as these fledgling disciples, then we see something that I think is astounding, is Jesus' faith in them. And it's the same kind of faith that he has in us. I know we like to think we are superior to them, but we're really not. We are just as inept and just as awkward. And yet it's God's faith in humanity that to me is encapsulated in Jesus' public life, truly.
Mm-hmm. There's many different programs, shows, documentaries about Jesus nowadays. They always come up around Christmas and Easter time on the television. People can turn on the TVs or go on the internet and watch some of these. What do you make of the general thrust of these kinds of programs?
You know, I usually make an effort, I turn them on, and usually after 10 minutes I've had all I can take. You know, Jesus was not a blue-eyed blonde. Jesus was a Palestinian. Jesus was not rousing the rabble to revolution. I think so many of the cameras for those specials on Jesus, they come with a kind of reverence almost attached to the camera. We're doing Jesus now. And they lose the humanity of Jesus in their effort to portray divinity. I don't know what they're trying to do, but I have never yet seen an epic, a biblical epic on Jesus that got my stamp of approval.